everybody, Heather here. Thanks for joining me to color. Today we are going to be working on this adorable Whimsy stamp image called Dolly. Isn't she fabulous? I love her. I will put a link down in the description box to the card kit and all the supplies I used. I would love for you to come shopping with me. So I have already stamped my image on Neenah 80-pound solar white cardstock with Memento Tuxedo black ink. So let's color. Okay, so I'm going to start out by outlining my image with C00, and I'm just going to do a quick all the way around. So let's start down here at her foot, and you can make your line as skinny or as fat as you would like, but this is just to give her a little bit of a shadow so it looks like she's kind of popping up off the page. And I'm also going to go down each of these little swirls on her hair. Just accent those a little bit. Here, go around that cute little flower she's got up there. And I don't worry if I get some on her hair because it's such a light color when it dries that you will hardly see it. But if you're worried, you can take your colorless blender and erase it before you move on from this point. And we're just going to work our way up here. She's got quite a bit of hair here. She's awfully cute. We're going to go up here. Get her cute little pigtails in. And again, I'm going to get these little swirls of hair. Just outline them a little bit. Later we'll take our Spica clear bitter pen and add some sparkles to those cute little strands of hair. At least that's what I did on my finished card. I always like to add a little bit of glittery stuff. And we're just going to work our way back down to the other side here. A little dab there in between that one, it's background. And of course we want to go around these flowers. Again, I'm not being very careful because I know that if I get some on there and I hate it, I can erase it with my colorless blender. But I don't hardly ever go back and take it off if I get some on there. It's such a light color that you can't see it through the other colors after you color over the top of it. And we're just going to work our way back down to her cute little foot. Next, let's do her skin. For that, I'm going to use E11, E21, E00, E000. For her cheeks, I'm going to use R20 and R30. I'm going to start with my E11, and I'm going to start down here on her legs. So she's got a little bit of her leg showing above her socks. So I'm going to do a little dab right across underneath of her coat, and then I want to do a little dab along the back of her legs. And then I'm going to grab E21, and I want to add just a touch of that, so I'm going to touch down on my E11. And then pull a little bit into my white. And then I'm going to fill them in with my E00. And then we'll hop up here and we'll do her arms next. So again, I've grabbed E11. And let's do a little bit of this along the back of this arm. And then for this one, I'm going to go underneath of her coat sleeve and along the bottom or the back. Then I'm going to grab E21 next. I want to add a little bit of color. So I've touched down on top of my last color, and I'm just going to pull into my white space. Then I'm going to grab E00, and I'm going to fill those in. And we'll go up here and we'll do her neck. So grab E11. And I'm going to go underneath of her chin here and along the back of her neck. And then E21. And then E00 to fill that in. And she's got a little bit showing down here between her coat and her shirt. So you want to make sure to get that. Then we'll go up here and we'll do her face. So again, we're going to grab E11 first, and I want to use that up here underneath of her bangs. I'm just going to go up here and go along her bangs. A little dab showing through right there, and then she's got a cute little ear over here. And I'm going to bring this color along her jaw over here to her chin, to where her neck is. Get a little bit of that color in there. And then I'm going to go with E21 next. For E21, I want to go along this edge of her face and connect it to the bottom over here. Let me turn my girl a little bit. And I'm going to take this color, I fill in the bottom of her ear, and then I'm just going to flick this color out away from the edge of her cheek just a little bit. Like so. And then I'm going to go with E00, and I want to fill in the little tippy top of her ear. And then we're going to bring this color out here to her eye. And then we'll take E000 and fill the rest of her face in. And I'm not worried about being blotchy because I'm going to go over it again after I add our cheek color. So let's grab our 20 and let's give this cute little rosy cheek over here on this side. And then I'll give her a little dab over here. She's going to be a little bit over here because her face is turned away. And then our 30 to soften that edge. And then I think I'll do another dab of R20. Then I'm going to grab our E21. Let's add a little bit over here on this side with our E21. And just a tad on this little cheek. Then I'm going to grab E00. And I'll go over the top of that cute little cheek. And I think I'll go past her eye just a little bit. And then I'm going to take E000 to go clear across. And then if you wanted to redden up her cheeks a little bit more, you could add a little bit more of your R20 and R30 there. But I'm liking mine, so I'm going to leave her just like that. Let's work on her hair now. For that, we're going to use E49, E44, E34, and E50. And since E49 is so dark, I'm going to start with E44 and then add the darkest color last. So let's start with our E44, and she does have some little hair bands in her hair, so we want to miss those. So we're going to take our E44 and we're going to touch down at the little hairband and flick each one of these cute little pigtails she's got going here. And you want your flicks to go in the same direction that the hair is going. Okay? And we're going to flip over here and we'll do this one over here. Same thing. She's got a hair bow. So let's do a little bit of color down at the base and then flick away. And then over here we want to do this one and this one. And then here it's coming out of her hair bow. Again, her hair kind of curls around. So you want to bring that color with you. And then I want to do, let's do a little bit at the ends too. So let's do, up here on this one. We'll just give each one of her cute little ends of her hair a little dab of color. And since these are kind of long, I'm going to go ahead and streak this up just a little bit further. Okay, then we're going to go over here and we're going to work on her bangs. So let's do her bangs. A little bit of that color down away from her roots there. And then because it gets a little bit longer over here, I'm going to bring my stripes out just a little bit more. And of course I'm going to do a little bit from the bottom, or from the ends. So let's do a little bit here on the ends of her bangs. This one's got a little bit that's kind of comes around the end there. And let's do, okay, like that. And then let's do, right here she's got a part, so let's do these little streaks. And this one's so small back here in the back, I'm going to fill that one in. And then up here at the top, I'm just going to do a little bit of a line right along the edge, so I don't get too much in there. And then down here, we've again got some more over here. Let's do a little bit of color pulling away from our face. And down here. And she's got a couple of little stragglers here. And then for this side over here, she's got one that's kind of poking up. So let's get that. And then over here, it kind of dips behind her face. So I'm going to fill that in. Okay. So got a bunch of patches going there. Now I'm going to grab E34, and we just want to add more color. So I'm going to start back up here at this top ponytail and just brush my brush in the direction with the hair's going and just add some more color. Okay, switch over to this ponytail. And again, these are pretty long, so I'm going to bring this color down a little bit more. And just work my way along her hair here. Then we'll get down here to her bangs. And I'm just flicking my brush along, adding some color. I'm filling this little very bottom one here. And we better make sure to get some over here. Then I'm going to take E50 and add some more color. So start up here at the ponytail. And you can fill it in, leave some white space. Totally up to you. I'm just going to kind of dab over the top of all my colors. And swirl them all together. Oops, I forgot these little stragglers down here. We'll come back and get those here in just a second. Let's brush my E50 over her entire hair. Let me go back here and get these cute little stragglers down here. So I've grabbed E34. And then E50 to fill those in. Now I'm going to take my E49 and just add a little bit of dark shadow. So I don't want to add too much. It's pretty dark. So let's start up here at our ponytail. And I'm going to hold my pen a little bit straighter. So I get some tiny, tiny streaks. Down here in our roots. And let's see, let's do over here where this little piece goes behind her. It's in the back. I'm going to color that in. Even though I colored it already with the E44, I'm going to darken that up. Okay, now I'm going to take my E44 and kind of go over those lines a little bit just to soften them up. Let me go fill in right here where this flower is too. That looks a little too light there. And this little piece right here, that's just blonde. Let's add a little bit of this in here. And then E34 over that, just to give that a little bit better color there. So now that we've finished your hair, and you can make it as streaky as you want, I could spend a lot more time fiddling with that hair, but I'm just going to leave it like that. We're going to move on to the red. So her shoes, her coat, stripes on her shirt, hairbands. We're going to use R39, R37, R46, and R17. I'm going to start with R39 up here in her hairbands. So I'm going to make the outside hairbands the red, and then the center we're going to make yellow gold. Let's do a little bit of our R39. And then I'm going to go with R37. R46. And then R17 to fill it in. Okay, and we'll go down here and let's work on her shoes. So again, I've grabbed R39 first. Let's do a little bit along the back and a tiny dab here on the sole. Same for this side. And we'll go with R37. R46. And then R17 to fill it in. Okay, and then let's go up here and do the stripes on our shirt. So again, I'm going to go with R39. And let's start with the top stripe being red. And we'll skip a stripe. Now to the next one. Again, skip a stripe. And then the bottom one. And then I'm going to go with, turn my girl bit, R37. There's a little bit up here. And then R46 is next. I'm going to fill this top little section in. There's not much space left there for me. And then R17 to fill those in. That leaves us with her cute little coat. So again, let's start with R39, and I'm going to go up here and do, let's do the sleeve right over here. There's a little bit of her sleeve showing above this cute little flower pot, and then she's got a little bit of her sleeve underneath of her hand that's showing. I'm just going to fill that in, and then we're going to go with her coat. So for her coat, let's do a little dab of our R39 right down next to the flower pot. Okay, and then for the coat on this side, I'm going to do right down the back of her coat. And then the back of her sleeve. Then I'm going to go with R37. Just dab my pen right along the edge of that last line over here because that's pretty small over there. And then I'm going to turn my girl a little bit. And let's do a little dab of this on her sleeve. And then we're going to go down the inside of her coat. And I'm actually going to do a little dab of this color on this side of her sleeve. I'm going to go with R46, and I'm going to fill the rest of this side of her coat in. And then we're going to add some color over here. And I'm going to bring this color up even with her hand. Side, and then we're going to finish it off with our R17. And if you get some on your buttons, don't worry because we're going to color those black. Let's work on the gold parts next. For that, we're going to use Y26, YR23, and Y11. So I'm going to start with my Y26 up here on our headbands. Let's add a little dab of that up here. And we'll go with YR23. And then Y11 to fill those in. And we'll go down here and let's do these stripes on our socks. So again, I've grabbed Y26. Y23, or sorry, YR23. And then Y11 to fill that in. And I kind of scrub it a little bit there at the end just to soften that edge a little bit since Y11 is so much lighter. Okay, then we'll go up here and we'll work on our jacket. So again, let's do Y26. Let's do this side, this side. And this is quite a big space, so I'm going to bring that quite a bit over. Coat. Let's Let's do our shirt inside our dress. And then we'll go with YR23. And I like to go over, this is such a different color that I'm going to go over, I went over the top of my last color too, so that it would add a little bit of this orange on top. And then we fill it in with our Y11. And again, I kind of scrubbed around a little circle there at the end, just to mix the colors and soften that edge. For her socks, let's give those just a little dab of C00. So I'm just going to go right along the edge here. Not even filling the whole thing in, just giving it a quick little brush to give them a shadow on the back side. Next, let's do the cute little flower pot. For that, we're going to use E33, E31, and E30. I'm going to start with my E33, and I'm just going to flick away from her coat all the way down. And as I go down here closer to the bottom, I'm just going to get a little bit skinnier with my line. And then for up here, I want to go down the same thing down on the, I want to go back on the other way. So let's go right around her hand, and back up towards the top. I'm also going to do just a little bit of this color, just a tip of my pen along the bottom of each of these little stripes. Then I'm going to grab E31, and I want to flick right over the top of my last color. And then E30 to fill it in. I think I'll actually go back a little bit more with my E33. Darken that up, my flower pot, just a little bit. And then E31. And then again my E30. Next, let's do the flowers. For that, we're going to use R85, R83, and R81. I'm going to start with my R85 up here in this little flower in her hair. And I just want to flick some color away from the center of my flower out into each of my little petals. And then we'll go over here to these flowers. Let's start over here at this one right here. And again, we want to flick some color away from the center of that flower. And we'll just work our way around our cute little flowers here. And this great big one right here. Okay, then I'm going to go with R83. So we're going to add some more color. So let's go up here and just flick some more color onto our flower in her hair. And then these flowers down here. And I forgot this one right here, so let me grab R85 again, and we'll do this cute one right here. And then R83. And then we're going to take R81 to fill them in. So you can fill them all the way in, or you can leave some white. I'm just going to go ahead and fill these in. For the flower centers, let's use YR24, YR23, and Y21. I'm going to start with my YR24 and give each one a little dab of shadow. Some of those are pretty small, so you can go ahead, like these are really small, so I'm just going to fill them in. Then I'll grab YR23. And then Y21 to just swirl over the entire center. For the leaves, let's use G17 and YG23. So I'm going to start with my G17. Let's add a little bit of some of this dark green in here. Try not to get too much on my flower. And then I'm going to color the back part of this flower the dark green. So a little bit of shadow in there between each of those little cute petals. And it looks like, oh, this piece right here should have been green. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill that in. Covered that pink up. And then I'm going to go with my YG23 to fill in the rest of my space. Fill in the rest of that green. So I forgot to bring my black pin in to do these cute little buttons, so I'm going to go ahead and use E49 since it's so dark that you're not going to be able to tell the difference. I'm just going to color these cute little buttons on her coat in with that really dark brown. So there is our beautiful Dolly all colored up. Isn't she so pretty? And here is the finished card. So I again took my Sharpie white paint pen and I gave her some dots on her cheek. I gave the buttons a couple of dots, and I also did the dots on her eyes so they were white again. I took my Spica clear glitter pen and added sparkles in her hair and on all these little swirls and stuff that are poking out. My Wink of Stella glitter or brush pen and clear I added to all the pink flowers, and then I took Stickle Stardust and Stickle Stardust to the centers of all the flowers. And then this out here I did with around the image is Ranger Distress Ink and Antique Linen. So I hope you had fun coloring with me today. If you have a question, leave me a comment and I will get back to you. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.